Kaibigan, kababayan, kapatid, kumusta tayo po, no? I hope everything is running smoothly sa buhay natin on a Tuesday morning. Today is January 27 po, no? Mabilis talaga ang araw natin, no? January 27, come to think of it, no? Bago lang yung January 1, and ngayon 27 na tayo. After 27 days na po tayo dito sa bagong taon natin, 2026. And sana lang po itong bagong taon natin po will be a very, sabihin natin, maganda ang takbo sa 2026 po. Pero the way we look at it ngayon, medyo nag-start na po ang roller coaster. Ang mga senaryo dyan po sa Pilipinas. And of course, si Nico Fabian nandito po to give all of you, mga followers natin po, especially mga Filipino communities dito po sa Malaysia, dyan sa West Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, and of course dito po sa East Malaysia, ang Sabah at saka ang Sarawak. So to all our kababayan, kapatid, kaibigan natin po dito sa Malaysia, particularly dito po sa Sabah, specifically dito po sa Kota Kinabalu, kasi based tayo dito po sa Kota Kinabalu City, and mga kababayan o mga kaibigan natin po, ang mga Malaysiano po. Good morning, salamat pagi, salamat patang, and salamat na malam to all of you. And of course, same greeting goes to all ang mga overseas Filipino workers natin po sa ibang parte ng mundo. Kumusta kayo? Hope everything is running smoothly po. And of course, ang mga kapatid, kababayan at kaibigan natin po dyan sa Pilipinas. I know ang mga Filipinos po dyan sa Pilipinas, busy, kagaya namin po, busy and very eager to know ang mga latest updates sa tungkol what is happening dyan po sa Pilipinas. And itong programa natin is also dedicated to all our senior citizens as well as super senior citizens po. No? Kagaya sa akin po, senior citizen na tayo po. I cannot deny that thing. But anyway, sige, sabi nga ni Ted Filon, bisperas na ng Wednesday po kasi ngayon Tuesday. Anyway, ngayon we are going to touch some issues regarding sa Pilipinas po. Ang unang-una po, I would like to give ang latest updates sa tungkol sa MV Tricia Kerstin 3, na lunod dyan po, no? Dyan po sa coastal area ng municipality of Matuman, dyan po sa Basilan. Ano ang latest? I heard na ang latest developments natin po, ang news regarding sa sea tragedy po, kahapon yun po nangyari, early in the morning, January 26 po. So ang latest updates natin po is 15 dead, no? 43 missing and 316 rescued po, no? And ganun pa rin ang rescue operation po dyan po sa area, no? Sa area po. And ano ang cause? Still we have to wait ang official announcement made by to be made by our Philippine Coast Guard po, because sila po is investigating itong sea tragedy. And the other thing I'm going to touch dito po sa programa natin po on a Tuesday morning is itong impeachment of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos po. Dalawa po, no? In fact, may tatlo yun po. So first impeachment complaint against BBM was submitted dyan po sa House of Representatives last Monday, and two more impeachment complaints nagsubmit sana po last Thursday ba yon? But unfortunately, because of the fiscal presence of Garfield, ang House Secretary General po, nasa outstation niya po, so it was not accepted. But kahapon, ang Makabayan Bloc po bumalik sa House of Representatives sa opisina ng Office of the Secretary General, and they refiled ang complaint nila po. Ang third impeachment now done by former congressman, at saka ang grupo niya po, si former Congressman Mike Defensor po, hindi na natuloy kahapon po for reasons that wala na silang kumpiyansa po, no? Wala na silang kumpiyansa whether it will be accepted or whether it can be pushed through, no? Sa impeachment ng Presidente Marcos. So, mayroon tayong mga latest details dito po and supported by some video clips po and interviews, no? By our national media po, mga media personalities natin. Particularly today, I'm going to share with you po ang interview ni Ted Filon. Ted Filon is one very respectable and he's a former congressman also po. Very respectable media personalities and matapang dyan po si Ted Filon together with DJ Shasha sa programa nila Ted Filon every morning from 6 a.m. hanggang 10 a.m. po. And I'm closely monitoring or regularly monitoring itong programa nila po kasi maganda po ang mga issues na they are touching po, no? Sa programa nila. And mayroon din tayong isa yata yun po, no? Video clip regarding si Representative Leviste po, no? Kilala na natin po si Leandro Leviste, ang anak ni Senator Legarda, no? And ano kaya ang mga latest updates tungkol kay Kiko Barzaga? Ano kaya po? So dito, I'm going to share with you some of these news na I managed to gather today po early in the morning. At 4 o'clock pa tayo nagising and I'm already monitoring ang mga sitwasyon dyan po. We also mentioned about Tatay Digong, anong latest developments tungkol sa predicament or sa sitwasyon ni Tatay Digong dyan po sa he's now under the custody of the International Criminal Court. So mayroon tayong mga issues or mga news pertaining kay Tatay Digong. Okay, to start with po, no? Let me touch on the Trisha 3 sea tragedy which happened January 26, kahapon yan po, early in the morning, 1 or 2 o'clock na nalunod ito po dahil hindi pa ito official na po pero marami ng mga speculations sa kahaka po kung bakit nalunod and mayroon tayong dito ng footages din po that I'm going to share with you po coming from sabihin natin coming from the Philippine Coast Guard and at the same time po the relative of the owner ng Allison Shipping Line. Siya po ang itong Allison Shipping Line is a Buanga-based shipping company po, no? And they already confirm and extend condolences and lahat na po, no? Remorse regarding what happened sa insidente kahapon po ang Allison. So, let me share with you po ang first video clip tungkol ang official statement coming from the Philippine Coast Guard, Philippine Coast Guard regarding ang insidente kahapon. Let's watch and listen to this.
Palabas, further validation, Coast Guard Station, Sumbuanga. Yung passengers, yung original na report was 332. Ngunit napagalaman na mayroong 15 na hindi tumuloy. So ay nangyayari naman talaga yan dito sa lugar natin. So naging 370. Okay? 27 pa rin yung crew. Ang na-rescue, yung survivors ay 316. 18 yung casualties. At yung missing ay 10. Sampu na. 10 na lang sir. Kanina sir, may balita na mabuti siya ng 24. Yes, nagkaroon ng further validation. Doon yung napag-alaman na yung mga missing na yun. Actually, hindi sila. Yung actually, ay hindi 14 but 15 ay hindi tumuloy.
So, ako na siya na minus. Sir, sa ginagawa ba natin validation sa mga namatay, meron ba kasama doon ang mismong tripulante ng barko?
Yes, mayroong walo. Doon
Walo.
sa 10 missing, ang walo doon ay tripulante ng barko kasama yung kapitan.
Kaya sa mga nasawi po.
Sa mga nasawi, wala. Palabas sa
Alright, yun po ang Philippine Coast Guard official statement this morning po. Lumabas sila and based on the statement of the Philippine Coast Guard po na 10 na lang, no? 10 na lang yata if I'm not wrong, if I'm not mistaken po, na report na 10 na lang ang missing. And nadamay din ang mga some of the crews, no, ng MV Tricia. MV Tricia 3 po, no? So, ano talaga nangyari? Ang investigation po is still ongoing and we still don't know, no? Anong ang dahilan, anong rason, bakit na lunod o nag-sink ang MV Tricia. Initial investigations we received na na-confirm din po ang Philippine Coast Guard na it is not overloaded po, no? Because 350 earlier, I was made to understand, ang capacity ng Tricia 3 is 350 and recorded lang po passengers is around 332, no? And there is also a possibility, no? Mayroon din yung mga pasahero hindi registered sa manifesto, no? Hindi registered sa manifesto. But anyway, yun po ang latest updates tungkol sa Tricia 3. And to the bereaved family, yun na matay po. And based on the report, mayroon na 15 na matay. No? Yesterday when I was reporting, when I was breaking the news po, yesterday morning, ang ano natin po, ang report natin was 10 and I was already hoping po, no? Hindi na mag-increase the number of fatalities. But unfortunately po, this is official now, 15 namatay po, no? And I was also saying and praying na sana po lahat ang mga remaining passengers po will be rescued, no? But so far, mayroon pa hanggang ngayon missing. And according to the Philippine Coast Guard, may 10 pa po. But earlier report po, kagabi, ang figures nila po is 15 dead, 43 missing, 316 or 317 po were rescued. Maganda po ang response ng Philippine Coast Guard as well as mga nearby residents in the area as well as other vessels within the vicinity or within the area po who responded an emergency call made by Tricia 3 officials po, no, during that time yon ano natin that happened, no, early in the morning. Shoutout muna tayo kay Yuli Ses who is watching ang programa natin ngayon dito po sa Nick Talk, the Real Talk with Nico. Good morning, good afternoon and good evening sa iyo po, masking kung nasan man kayo po, no? Kung sa malayo, we say it, salamat pagi, salamat patang, and salamat malam. Hope everything is running smoothly sa buhay ni Yuli, no? Alright, tuloy natin, and ang mga pasahero po, no? We were made to understand, yesterday po, there are some rescued passengers were brought to Isabela Basilan Port, no? Others from the ground zero po, dyan sa insidente talaga po, yung nalunod ang barko po. Now, they were sent to Zamboanga City. So, sa Basilan, according to Governor Mujib Hataman yesterday, they received something like 223 passengers, no, rescued dyan po sa Basilan. And the rest, no, he cannot give us the figure. The rest were brought to Zamboanga City. But ganito na po ang latest updates natin tungkol sa figure ng affected or yun po nangyari ang Tricia 3, the sinking of Tricia 3. I was made to understand this is the third or the second or third incident na-encounter ang Allison Shipping Line within 3 years po. No? Within 3 years. No? Last year siguro yon na yung nasunog. No? Ang isang barko ng Allison Shipping Line, dyan din po sa area. And yesterday, yon nalunod na talaga po ang Tricia 3. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, itong Tricia 3, no? During the early days po, no, ang biyahe between Zamboanga, Sandakan, no, there are some trips na they use this vessel to operate ang road between Zamboanga to Sandakan. In fact, if I'm not mistaken also po, na I managed to follow this Tricia 3, no, trip, one of the trip or twice, no, Zamboanga, Sandakan, Zamboanga po. It's a small vessel lang po, no? Just imagine it can only carry 350 passengers po, no? And nag-stop na yun sila po and they just did the domestic route po, no? Ang Tricia. Kasi dumating na ang Antonia 1, MV Antonia 1 vessel is a bigger vessel po and ito po ngayon ang flying the road between Zamboanga City and Sandakan, no? And Sandakan. So, all right. Ganito po. And mayroon ako ditong video clip po. Mga local media men dyan po sa Zamboanga City interviewed ang Zamboanga City Mayor. Dahil po, some of the passengers were brought to Zamboanga City. Rescued passengers were brought to Zamboanga City. And itong Zamboanga Mayor natin po, newly elected, first term ito, si Mayor Kimer Olaso, ang wife na po is one of the owners po, siblings ito po, ng Allison Shipping Line. No? Allison Shipping Line. So, nag-interview sa kanya and he is one person who can talk about navigations po, about barko, because he is a qualified, licensed captain, boat captain po. And nandito, I will share with you po ang official statement made by Mayor of Zamboanga City, who happens to be a relative of the owner of itong Allison Shipping Line po. And as what I said, he's a qualified, licensed boat captain po. Now, and in fact, there were time also when I followed itong road between Zamboanga, Sandakan, using the MV Antonio 1 vessel po, I still remember there was one trip na he was the one who is navigating or ang kapitan ng MV Antonio 1. Let's watch and listen to this interview made by the local media dyan po sa Zamboanga City Mayor Kimer Olaso.
Is concerned nung kumakambyo sila papunta. Sa tingin ko, yung sabi nilang na pumutok, baka yung lashing materials yung tumatali sa masasakyan. Ay, kasi pag humampas yun, malakas yun eh. So baka yun ang maaaring naputol at nag-giveaway and bumangga. So yun ang commotion ng ingay doon na sinasabi nila. Eh, malakas naman talaga kasi pag tumama yun sa bakal, talagang steel to steel.
Bakal yung tuloy.
Yes, steel to steel.
Gusto yun yung bumutas.
Hindi naman bumutas, pero dahil tumagilid yung barko, walang butas eh. Tumagilid siya, yung mga equipment, yung mga na kumarga, kasi gumagano yung barko, rumurolling. Pag nagro-rolling yung barko, siguro yung lashing materials, hindi kinayanan, baka mabigat yung truck, baka overcapacity. So, hindi nila namataan yun, pumutog yung rolling materials, nung gumano ng barko, nung nag-rolling siya, sumaba yung truck tumagilid. Kaya nung tumagilid yung truck, nagkaroon siya ng angle of roll and dire-diretso na lumubog yung barko. So which is very difficult to control kung ganun yung situation. Well, actually, kanina, nung iniimbestiga namin, kanina umaga, actually, biglang tumagilid yung barko. Siguro, as far as navigational is concerned, nung kumakambyo sila papuntang Hulog, galing sa Zamboanga City, siguro, pinampas ng alon, maliit yung barko, ay gumalaw yung mga rolling cargo sa loob. Nung umala yung mga rolling cargos, nagkaroon siya ng sudden lease yung barko. Accordingly, nagkaroon ng water ingress. So, hindi rin po alam kung saan nanggaling. Basta biglang yung pinaka-proa niya. At yun na, hindi tumagal, dire-diretso eh. Maraming na dire-diretso at parang 5 minutes lang ata yung duration ng heavy lease. Tapos diretso lumubog yung barko. So, hindi ma-determine kung ano talaga yung problema. Basta may pumutok daw na parang malakas sa baba. Then yun na yun, tumagilit yung barko kagad. So,
Sa baba kung nasan yung mga sasakyan po?
saan yung masasakyan?
Alright, yun po ang explanation ng Zamboanga City Mayor who happens to be one of the relatives of the owner of Allison Shipping Line. And as what I said po, no? As what I said, he is a licensed boat captain and he knows. He knows ang sitwasyon po, no? And what he was saying is that there is a possibility because this is a ro-ro vessel, no? Flying a domestic road between Zamboanga to Jolo, no? At Zamboanga to Jolo, ang sea travel time nila po estimated around 8 hours lang yan po, no? Why I said 8 hours? Because I also may follow this trip po. I used this trip before. 8 hours. So, umalis sa Zamboanga Port around 9 something, expected to arrive in Jolo the following day around 6 a.m. That's a normal schedule nila po, no? But while passing through, navigating ang area ng coastal area ng municipality of Matuman, dyan po sa Basilan po, yan nangyari po. So sabi ni Mayor Olaso, based on his experience lang ito po, no? There is a possibility na something went wrong dyan po sa baba ng barko wherein sa cargo area po wherein mayroon mga vehicles po, no? So siguro because of the weather condition, it was rolling, no? Ang barko and siguro anong sabi niya yun po? Parang ang tali, no? To keep steady ang mga vehicles po, it was broken and yun po siguro dahil sa wave, no? It went to one side, kaya nga na capsize ang Tricia 3, no? And it was so fast po, no? Nangyari po. And according to the claims of some rescued passengers po, before the incident happened, they heard a big bang, no? Malakas na putok po. So sabi ni Mayor Olaso, there is a possibility dahil yun po na broken ang tali ba yun po, no? And nag-hit sa side ng na vessel, it is a big noise also, no? So yun po nangyari. So there is no indication ay may explosion po. No, my explosion. There is no indication my explosion. There is no indication na overloaded ang vessel po. What really happened? Natural yan po. Maybe movement of the boat. May kunting malaking alon. And ito nangyari sa area, ng cargo area ng na vessel. Doon yung mga vehicles po. No? Vehicles. There are some issues being raised by some local media sa Zamboanga City po. They are questioning whether itong vessel undergo itong yearly inspection of the boat po, no? Dry docking. So, as far as I know, ang Allison Shipping Line is very strict when it comes to the dry docking exercises po. Lahat ang mga vessels nila will always go for dry docking. So, ibig sabihin, if you went for dry docking exercise po, ibig sabihin, ang barko po is fit, safe, no? To sabihin natin na navigate. So, I don't think so yun shortcomings ng Allison Shipping Line. But anyway, again, to all the victims of 15 who died in the sea tragedy po, no? I, myself, and my family, including ang mga Filipinos dito po sa Malaysia o dito sa Sabah po, we extend our sincere condolences po. So, narinig ko rin po, no, since last night, I've been receiving calls coming from mga Filipinos dito po, especially ang mga relatives, no? Mga Filipinos are working dito po sa Sabah. They are very concerned po. And I advise them to contact to their mga relatives sa Pilipinas to know whether kumusta ang sitwasyon ng mga relatives who happen to be part of the sea tragedy po. No? So, ganun po. No? And I will continue to monitor ang situation about mga latest updates regarding itong Trisha 3 sea tragedy which happened yesterday. Okay, next. Okay, sandali po. Let's see. Mayroon ba tayong dito mga maskin na Sandali po. Alright, Philstar. Mayroon ba tayong news sa Philstar tungkol itong tragedy? Alright, mayroon tayo dito po. Let me share with you po itong news article coming from the Philippine Star po, a legit national paper dyan po sa Pilipinas. And the title goes this way. Ferry survivor describes scenes of panic, wait for rescue. As their ferry began listing heavily in the middle of the night off the southern Philippine, passengers instinctively raced to one side in a desperate bid to rebalance the doomed vessel. Survivor Aquino Sajili told AFP he called a lawyer friend as he stood against the railing of the MV Trisha Christine 3, saying he expected it to sink and asking him to alert the Philippine Coast Guard. 10 minutes later, I heard a sudden, loud and snap, said the 56-year-old attorney from nearby Zamboanga City in Mindanao. Then the ship immediately capsized. No? Grabe, no? It happened too fast. The ship immediately capsized. He said in an interview from his home, describing how panic quickly gripped the passengers. The women and children were shouting and crying, he said. There were many children present there. A client he had been traveling with an Sharia court hearing was among the 18 dead, Sajili said. Many of the casualties were women of old age. The ship was so big that when you are covered by it, you need strength to push yourself above water. You just imagine, na-capsization po, and karamihan pala po, no? Based on the testimony of this rescue passenger po, na karamihan daw po ang mga matanda, age women po, at saka mga bata. Ang dami din mga bata po. So, yun po. That's the latest update mayroon tayo po tungkol sa incident, si tragedy. Alright. This time around, let's go sa impeachment. Dalawang impeachment po kay President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. Narinig natin po na kahapon, bumalik ang Makabayan Bloc po, no, sa House of Representatives, and they refiled ang impeachment complaint against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos po kahapon. Around 11 o'clock, no, pumunta sila dyan po sa House of the Secretary General Office, and they refiled. And it was accepted. It was accepted po. No? But the third impeachment complaint, yung grupo ni former Congressman Mike Defensor po hindi na natuloy po. Because earlier they went there and it wasn't accepted for reasons that physically si Garfield, ang Secretary General, was outstation out of the country and no one there to receive ang complaint. So, hindi na sila natuloy kahapon po. So, ibig sabihin, dalawa lang po, no? Dalawa lang ang impeachment complaint na tumanggap ang Office of the Secretary General kahapon and last Monday. And ano ito? And sandali po. And it was already transmitted to the office of the speaker kahapon po, no? And let me share with you a story also coming from Fieldstar. The title or heading of the story po, news article is Impeachment Case versus Marcos Now in Motion. The two verified impeachment complaints filed against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. were referred to the Justice Committee during Congress plenary session Monday. So, nag-refer na po ang dalawa. First, by Andre De Jesus, no? Which some people are saying is a weak complaint against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. And the second is made by Makabayan Block na may mga grounds din po, no? So, nag-verify na po, no? Verified impeachment complaints filed against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos were referred to the Justice Committee kahapon. Kasi kailangan nyo po from Secretary General transmitted to the Speaker, and the Speaker will have to look at it, ang complaint, and he has to transmit it, no, to the Justice Committee of the House to verify po. So, ibig sabihin, once nandoon na yun po ang impeachment na complaint po, it will now trigger the one-year ban policy. No? Ibig sabihin, wala nang ibang impeachment complaint po, pwede pa i-file against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. They have to wait for another 1 year. Another 1 year po. Now, we don't know whether it will be consolidated, no? Itong dalawang impeachment complaint, or i-push lang po ang first. We don't know po. Pero nandoon na. Okay, let's continue itong news article. The referral followed the Committee on Rules inclusion of both complaints in the order of business, which the Office of the Secretary General read aloud between lawmakers' privileged speech as part of the additional reference of business. Deputy Speaker Vicente Bambi Emano of Misamis Oriental 2nd District presided over the session and announced the complaints referral to the Committee on Justice, effectively initiating the impeachment proceeding against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. The first complaint was filed by lawyer Andre De Jesus and endorsed by Representative Jet Nisay of Pusong Pinoy Party List, while the second one was submitted by a 36-member progressive groups and endorsed by Makabayan Bloc. Under the House rules, the Justice Committee evaluates whether the complaints are sufficient in substance and form, allowing both sides to submit affidavits and evidence. No? A majority vote decides the committee's recommendation, which is then forwarded to the plenary. If grounds are found, 1/3 of House members must approve the articles of impeachment. If dismissed, the plenary may overturn the ruling with the same rules. So, yun po. Yun ang latest updates mayroon tayo. In addition po, the Justice panel is chaired by Representative Girville Jinky Bitrix Luistro, Batangas 2nd District, with Representative Jonathan Kit Flores, Bukidnon 2nd District, and Representative Isabel Maria Zamora of San Juan Long District. As two of its vice chairs, all three were elected prosecutors in the concealed impeachment trial against Vice President Sara Duterte. Identified sila po. Prosecutor sila. Yung impeachment case last year filed by against Sara Duterte or Vice President Sara Duterte. Now let's see po what will happen. whether it will be consolidated, 1 and 2 impeachment complaints, or i-push lang po ang isang impeachment complaint, ang first one. Anyway, ang grupo ni Ted Filon, no? During the program this morning, si Ted Filon with DJ Shasha, they interviewed itong congressman, no? Si Ronnie Puno, no? Si Ronnie Puno po, and to seek ang opinion niya po, ang statement niya po, no? regarding itong issue. And let me share with you po ang interview ni Ted Filon kay Congressman Ronnie Puno regarding itong impeachment complaints against Vice President or against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. Nandito po. Let's watch and listen.
Antipolo 1st District Representative Ronnie Puno. Magandang umaga po sa inyo, Congressman.
Magandang umaga, Ted. How are you?
Mabuti po and good to see you back. Hindi lang po sa aming programa, kundi po kahapon sa inyo pong pag-preside kahit temporarily sa Kamara ng Representante. Opo, kasama ko po si Chacha this morning. Congressman, unang katanungan po natin na formally na po na-endorse na no, sa Committee on Justice ang impeachment complaint laban sa Presidente. Ano po ang inyong basa dito sa usapin po ng buhay nito? Is this dead on arrival?
Tatlo yun, Ted. Yung isa, yung dinala ni na former congressman defensor, ay hindi yan na-endorse yata ng isang congressman. So, that one is dead on arrival. Pero yung dalawa, referred to committee yan. I-evaluate ngayon yan for form and substance na tama yung pag-submit nila. Tapos pag yan ang sufficient inform and substance, ay tatalakayin na ng committee yung grounds ng kanilang impeachment complaint.
Oo nga po, no? Pero ngayon ho ba pinag-uusapan na ito ng mga partido, Congressman, meaning NUP, Lakas, Federal, etc.?
Well, siyempre tinignan na namin ng mabilis lang yung kanilang mga complaint. Lahat kami may mga miyembro sa Committee on Justice, kaya kailangan din namin tingnan ito ng mabuti. Mga seryosong bagay ito kasi hindi naman laging nangyayari ito. Pero itong mga complaint nila, siyempre pag binasa mo na, makikita mo yung diin ng kanilang mga base sa kanilang mga complaint. At ang sa tingin namin, dapat suriin talaga dahil hindi naman ganong kalalim yung kanilang mga ebidensya pa na nilalabas.
Opo. Sa inyong pagtansya, Congressman, gaano ho kaya ito? Bagamat dadaan nga sa proseso, kasi ito pong usapin na ito, hindi naman maitatanggi, sinasabi po ng iba, makaka-apekto po sa ating ekonomiya, sa usapin din po ng investors' confidence, etc. Tingin po ninyo, ito, dapat ho ba, gaano ito katagal at yung proseso pagdadaanan nito at yung panahon na dapat i-google ng Kamara dito?
Tingin ko magiging seryoso ang pagsususi nito dahil yung decision ng Supreme Court ay medyo binago ng konti yung tenor yung tema ng ating mga impeachment complaint ngayon. Dahil sinabi nila, although it is a political process, it must also follow the legal processes that ensure the rights of the individual. So, ang proseso ngayon is dapat bigyan ng kopya yung respondent. Tapos bibigyan ng pagkakataon yung respondent sumagot. Pagkatapos nila sumagot, natural, bibigyan din ng pagkakataon ulit yung complainant mag-respond doon sa sagot. So medyo yung proseso niyan, medyo mas matagal ng konti yan. Siyempre, pagka pananaw ng committee, doon pa lang sa unang tingin, wala na talagang kabase-base yan. Pwede nilang i-dismiss yan for lack of form and substance. Mas importante yung substance kasi sa tingin ko yung form parang sinunod naman nila ng dalawang complaint na nasa committee ngayon. Yung pangatlo, siyempre, hindi sumunod sa form. Yung substance niyan, makikita natin sa mga unang mga talakayan dyan kung talaga may base yan or wala. Sa unang tingin, iisipin mo na mukhang meron, no? Na at least may pag-uusapan. May base man o wala, at least dapat pag-usapan. So, siguro, bawat complaint dyan, magkakaroon ng ilang hearing. Dalawa siguro, minimum, kasi sasagot yung parehong pating muna.
Opo.
Alright, yun po, narinig natin po ang official statement coming from Representative ng Antipolo, no? If I'm not mistaken, si Congressman Ronnie Puno. No? So yun po ang sitwasyon ngayon po sa dalawang impeachment. And sabi nga ni Congressman Puno na they will be looking into the form and substance ng complaint po, no? In forms, ang third impeachment po sa form, when it comes to the form, medyo hindi qualified because it was not supported by or endorsed by a member of the House, no? So itong first and second, okay na po, but they have to look, ang Justice Committee po will have to look sa substance and kung may probable cause po, no? And they will be voting, no? In the event, the only thing is that I don't know if it will be consolidated, no? Ang first and second impeachment po. It will be consolidated. That I don't know. Anyway, shoutout muna tayo kay Obet Biandoma and si Marilu Pentodio is also watching itong programa natin, Nick Talk, the Real Talk with Nico. Ngayon, today, Tuesday, January 27. Okay, earlier in the program of Ted Filon this morning, I managed to record ang mga statements niya po, no? And I would like to share with you po itong komentaryo made by Ted Filon early this morning sa programa nila, Ted Filon, with DJ Shasha. Sana yun, at 2:24. Saan ba yun, 2:24? Let's watch and listen to this po.
Naman sa kanila itong impeachment complaint. Kung sakali man daw umabot doon, handa naman sila kung magsasabay ang impeachment ni President Marcos Jr. at VP Sara Duterte.
Pagkakaisa.
Pero sinasabi yun na nga, kung ano naman nating di mangyayari. Na sinasabi din ng ilan, hindi maganda yan para sa bansa natin.
Ito lang po. So kahapon mga kapatid, in fairness, ito kay Secgen Garafil, kahapon niya tinanggap yung second complaint and the same day po na i-transmit niya ito sa Office of the Speaker, and the Speaker, in all fairness then, agad po itong ipinakalendar sa Committee on Rules na nagkalendar po naman kaagad pa sa agenda kahapon. Siningit siya. Bago po matapos ang sesyon, hindi siya kasama sa original na agenda, nagkaroon ng supplemental. Nakita ko yung papel at yung nga po, ito ay binasa na kahapon at meron na pong referral sa Committee on Justice, so that's deemed initiated na itong first complaint na ito. I'm sorry, ito pong complaint na ito na nangangahulugan po na wala nang pwede pang anuman pong reklamong impeachment laban sa Presidente. Meron na po siyang 1-year immunity. At tanong lang po, ito ba'y uusad? Oo naman. Kasi nga po na-refer na ito sa Committee on Justice, and definitely po we have a couple of days para magpatawag po ng pagpupulong sa komite at susuriin po muna ito pong kanyang forma, kung sakto ba, at eventually po tatawag na po ng pagdinig yan para po naman doon po sa sustansya ng reklamo na eventually po magpapatawag din po ng mga yung complainants and kung testigo po o anuman pong panig ng mga gusto nilang isakdal ay patatawag. But basically po, dead on arrival ito. Ngayon po, bahagi na lang po ito ng proseso. Hindi ito pupusan kasi nga it's a numbers game as we all know, at ngayon po, hawak pa po ng Presidente ang mayoriya ng mga miyembro ng Kamara. And definitely po, sa akin po naman sarili pong pagtansya, bibigyan po ito ng pagkakataong proseso para ko naman sabi ang lahat, pero at the end of the day, pagbobotohan po ang naturang magiging report ng Committee on Justice and pagkatapos noon, yun na po, ililibing na po ito ng tuluyan.
Alright, yun po, narinig natin ang personal opinion, observation, and mga statements ni Ted Filon, and of course, ang katandem niya, si DJ Shasha, no? And let's see what will happen next, no? Let's see what will happen next. Ang Nick Talk, Daily Talk with Nico will continue to monitor itong sitwasyon dyan po sa Pilipinas, especially itong impeachment versus President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. And let's not forget po, no? By next week, February, no? February, we are expecting another impeachment complaint to be filed dyan po sa House of Representatives, sa Secretary General's office, no? Impeachment complaint against Vice President Inday Sara Duterte po. Kaya nga sabi ko, we are starting the year 2026 po, roller coaster na po, maingay po. And the only thing I'm concerned here po, no, nakakahiya. I don't know, this is my personal opinion. Nakakahiya po. Biro mo, ang Pilipinas, ha? We are now facing a possible 2 impeachment complaints against 2 of our top officials, government officials po. Ang Presidente Marcos at saka si Inday Sara Duterte. And ano mga domino effects nito po? It will discourage investors from coming in. No? Sira ang image ng Filipino po. No? And more time, ngayon po, will be spent sa impeachment na yun po. Ang dami pa tayong problema tungkol sa flood control projects po. We want to see kung sino talaga ang mastermind. We want to see, mga Filipinos, we want to see kung makulong ba itong mga magnanakaw po. No? Mga magnanakaw. Hindi lang ang mga maliit na isda po. We want to see to be put behind bars. The long arm of the law will run after itong mga masterminds po. Sabi ko, may mga names mentioned like former Speaker Martin Romualdez po. Ang Cabinet Secretary, allegedly, mentioned also po, no? Ang mga undersecretaries, ang some top government departments po, including ang mga greedy, sabihin natin, businessmen, contractors natin dyan po, no? Hindi pa tapos yan. Now, nandito na naman problema that, and it will, sabihin natin, consume more time, efforts, and all these things po, no? Kung sakali, may dalawang impeachment po, matuloy itong dalawang impeachment. One from kay President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos and the other one kay Inday Sara Duterte po. Ano ang proseso po, no? Ano ang proseso, ang trial, impeachment trial nila po? Sabay-sabay ba yun? Or ano? And we have to consider po, mayroon pa mga pending bills dyan po sa Senado. No? Sa Senado po. So, ano talaga? No? We have to remember, itong impeachment exercise po is a political exercise. Kailangan ba tayo at this kind of situation po, wherein marami na tayong problema po, no? Sa Pilipinas. And do you think kailangan ba ito? Kaya ni President Bongbong Marcos during the first impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte, siya mismo po nagsabi na hindi kailangan, waste of time, sayang, why don't we focus sa mga trabaho natin po to level up ang Pilipinas po, ang buhay ng mga Filipinos po. And now, nandito na naman po. No? Nandito naman ang dalawang impeachment. Mayroon pa mga problema po, whether scam ba ang first impeachment against Bongbong Marcos or what, yun po, mga haka-haka ngayon po. No? That is what is happening sa Pilipinas. So sana lang po, for me, I hope and pray, ang mga officials natin dyan po sa Pilipinas po, we really think twice. No? We really think twice. Although we want the truth to come out, we want the people involved dito sa mga kalokohan dyan sa mga kalokohan sa Pilipinas po, no? But we have also to consider ang mga negative and positive effects of this impeachment. Po. So that's how I look at it. That's how kami mga Filipinos dito po sa Malaysia, dito po sa Sabah, na worried tayo po. No? Worried what is happening now sa bayan natin. Po. While other Asian countries are focusing in other things, no? How to get more revenues para sa nation nila, kagaya ang Malaysia. For example, nag-focus na sila po, despite they have some problems also, but they are very positive in focusing ang positive plano nila for the future of the country. Kagaya ngayon ang Malaysia is celebrating or has launched ang Visit Malaysia Year 2026 po, no? Target nila to have something like 48 million tourist arrivals, no? Within the year 2026. Maganda yun po, more revenues po, no? And maganda ang mga opportunities po. Now, sa Pilipinas po, when we talk about our tourism sector po, mababa ang tourist arrival natin. Why? Because of these problems that we are facing now po, no? Whether we like it or not. Okay. Yeah. Alright, let's move on. Another issue po. This time around, I would like to share with you po ang video clip ni Congressman Leviste. Leandro Leviste po. Kayo na po bahala to make your own opinion. Totoo ba ito or hindi? Kayo nang bahala po. Let's watch and listen to the video clip of Congressman Leandro Leviste po.
Marami ay tahimik dahil sa takot ang Pilipinas ngayon ay nasa ilalim ng de facto martial law. Hindi man deklarado, pero nararamdaman. Marami ay tahimik dahil sa takot na makasuhan, dahil nakikita na ang mga kritiko ng administrasyon ang mga unang sinasampahan ng kaso, habang ang ibang mga kaalyado ay hinahayaan. Dahil dito, ang ibang mga batas ay inaaprubahan ng walang debate at may mga bilyon-bilyon pisong mga budget na hindi kinakwestiyon. Kasama dito ang mga pambayad para sa ibang mga media at social media personalities at mga troll farms na nagpapalaganap ng fake news at umaatake sa mga kritiko ng administrasyon. Ganito din sa panahon ng martial law ni dating Presidente Ferdinand Marcos Sr. Ngunit maraming mga miyembro ng oposisyon, civil society at pribanong sektor ay lumaban sa diktatura. Kahit maraming ikinulong, umalis ng bansa at ginipit ang negosyo, hindi sila sumuko. Ako po ay naniniwala na ang mga nagsasalita ngayon ay magtatagumpay rin laban sa korupsyon katulad ng mga nauna sa atin at ang mga nananatiling tahimik ay maaalala bilang mga kasabwat sa pinakamalaking korupsyon sa kasaysayan ng ating bansa. Umaasa rin po ako na ang mga nagsasalita tungkol sa korupsyon sa gobyerno ay poprotektahan ng taong bayan at gagamitin nila itong pagkakataon upang ibahagi ang katotohanan para sa kinabukasan ng ating bayan.
Yon po. Grabe, no? Grabe po. Ang statement made by Congressman Leandro Leviste. And I don't know, may mga kaso they are planning to file against itong si Congressman Leviste, especially sa negosyo niya po, no? Dahil ba dyan is very vocal sa gobyerno or what, we don't know po. Kayo nang bahala po to think ano. And talking about Congressman, mga batang-batang neophyte congressman natin po, maingay. Some people are saying na believe tayo sa kanila dahil they are not afraid to talk, no? Against the government. And talking about Congressman, suspended ito, Congressman si Kiko Barzaga. I was made to understand na ang Kongreso is now contemplating hindi lang po to extend ang suspension ni Kiko Barzaga for putting out itong mga posting niya po sa social media And they are planning to expel him from the Congress po. Expel na po, hindi lang suspension po. Let's see po what will happen. What will happen. Alright, before I'm going to conclude itong programa natin, as what I mentioned earlier, when I started itong program po, I mentioned about ano ang latest update sa tungkol kay Tatay Digong po. Diyan po sa International Criminal Court. International Criminal Court po. Now, let me share with you. Let me share with you po itong latest news regarding sa sitwasyon ni Tatay Digong. Ang heading ng news article ito po is Duterte's ICC confirmation of charges hearing set for February 23. So tuloy po ang hearing ni Tatay Digong dyan po sa International Criminal Court wherein he is facing crime against humanity. Ang charges niya po. Nandito po ang notisya. Former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte's confirmation of charges before the International Criminal Court or ICC is scheduled for February 23 na po. The tribunal announced yesterday or Monday po. In a statement on January 26, pre-trial Chamber 1 judges declared Duterte fit to stand trial, meaning he will participate in the pre-trial proceedings, including the confirmation of charges. The judges based their decision on the medical assessment of 3-member expert panel, which found the 80-year-old Duterte capable of personally taking part in his trial, a conclusion the independent experts reached unanimously. Remember, mayroon tayong issue dyan po na ang kampo, ang legal team ni Tatay Digong, they are saying na Tatay Digong is not fit to face ang trial niya po, because of health problems. But mayroon 3 medical expert po, they examine si Tatay Digong, and based on the report sa ICC po, that they said that Tatay Digong is fit to face his trial. Having regarded to the relevant legal principles, the medical assessment of the independent experts composing of the panel and all of the relevant circumstances of the case, the chamber was satisfied that Mr. Duterte is able to effectively to exercise his procedural rights and is therefore fit to take part in the pre-trial proceedings, which are thereby resumed, the statement said. So yun po, sa February 23, next month, yun po, tuloy na po ang trial ni Tatay Digong. Sa inyo po, how do you look at it? How do you look at it? So ito po ang mga latest updates mayroon tayo today, dito po sa programa natin, Nick Doc, The Real Talk with Nico. So, I would like, again, to thank all of you, mga followers ko po dito, for taking part sa programa natin po. I hope that whatever I shared with you today po, it will be able to give you a clear picture, idea of what is happening sa Pilipinas po. Especially itong topic that we touched tungkol sa sinking of Tisha 3, ang impeachment of President Bongbong Marcos, ang possible impeachment, another impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte, ang situation ni Tatay Digong, ang statement made by Congressman Leandro Leviste, and of course ang possible mag-expel na po si Congressman Kiko Berzaga. Alright? So, with this, once again, si Nico Fabian would like to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. This is the second day of the week, Tuesday po, and let's make full use of this working week po and do our best. Do our best. So, again, Nico would like to say Malaysia, Sabah, the Philippines. God bless us all. Take good care of ourselves, and hope this week will be a problem-free week for all of us. With this, I'll see you in my next episode. Bye, and ingat tayo lahat. I love you all.